Hi. So we're going to look at some multiplying decimals here, but what I'm going to try and work towards is being able to do questions that you can see on the board without having to do a long multiplication, because we want to start working on mental abilities. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, because it's difficult to do this on video, you're going to see two different coloured pens apart from, so the black pen is the question, and then I'm going to use red and blue pens. Everything that's in red pen is going to be what I'm trying to do in my mind, if that makes sense. And then what you see in the blue pen is the answer. Okay, so everything I put up in red pen is we're trying to work towards doing that, sort of working in our head. Okay, so hopefully that'll make sense when we actually get into the lesson. We look at example 1. We see it's 0.4 times 0.5. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and recognise the numbers there that I actually can deal with. It's 4 and 5, okay? So what we need to think about is how many decimal points we've got, and also what those numbers are. So I had 4 times 5, which I got from just reading off the 4 and the 5. I can see that. I know the question is not 4 times 5. What I can, however, do is see that 4 times 5 is 20, and now think about it. I now have to fix that question. If you see there, I made that into 4 times 5 by moving the decimal point to the right. So, and I had to move it to the right in the other question as well. So I've had to move the decimal point to the right twice. Now to fix our answer, let's just move it back to the left twice. And so hopefully you can see that that answer becomes 0.2. Another way we could do that to prove that it is actually 0.2 is I could change it into fractions. And I know we all love fractions, so what I've done there is I've recognised that that's 4 tenths, 0.4 and 5 tenths. So it's 0.4 times 0.5 is just 4 tenths times 5 tenths, and then when we hopefully remember multiplying fractions, you times the top and times the bottom. And then 20 over 100 is just 0.2. So that's two different ways of doing those questions. But ultimately, we're trying to work towards doing them in our head. Now I've written that out, okay? So what about this next one? 0.2 times 0.3. So I had to move that to the right by the decimal points twice, so I'm going to have to move back twice. Okay, now let's look at example 3. I had to move, how many decimal points do I need to move to the right? I have to move to the right 3 decimal points. So when I have my answer of 6 times 5 being 30, I'm going to have to move back to the left 3. This is really tricky, so don't worry. Now let's look at this. Example 4, we've got 0.15 times 0.3. Now let's move it till we've got whole numbers. So I have to move all the decimal points to the right by 3 in total. So I'm moving back by 3. And then we've got 0.24 times 0.02. Now this time I had to move to the right 4. And then lastly, I'm going to have to move to the right by 5. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to do these all by the fraction way again, just to help you understand why this works. So, I can see here in that second one, 2 tenths times 3 tenths gives me 6 hundredths. And 6 hundredths, we know what that is as a decimal, it's just 0.06, so we can just write it like that. 6 tenths times 5 hundredths gives me 30 thousandths, which we can just simplify to 3 hundredths, and we know that 3 hundredths is just 0.03. So let's do another one. So if you can see there, 15 hundredths times 3 tenths gives me 45 thousandths. So 45 thousandths is just 4 hundredths and 5 thousandths, so 0.045. And again, .24 hundredths times 2 hundredths gives me 48 ten thousandths, which is just 0.048. And lastly, $18,000 times 3 hundredths gives me 54 hundred thousandths, which is 0.00054. Okay, so this is really tricky, but don't worry, we'll get there eventually. But it is just your times tables and then just recognizing where the decimal point goes. Okay, so that's multiplying decimals mentally.